Hi, guys and dolls. This is Tiffany Fontenot, your friendly reverse speech analyst here. And I just have to say that happiness is 2020 in the rear view mirror. This video is going to be on, psyops and then things that a lot of those psyops are trying to cover. So, and I'll just try to get through it as quickly as possible. But some of these things are really, really funny. I mean, people are just creative. I wish they could use their talents in a proper direction. Wouldn't that be nice? Things would change overnight. So, right here is a... Atlantis may have been real. I don't know. I've got to do a reverse speech analysis on it. But my attention was called to this story right here. Divers found a 12,000-year-old ancient skull with a microchip implant. So, they may have actually been using technology before, but I haven't found that yet, and I have to look at it. They may have, but they're not gonna. You're gonna have to dig for it and blast that group's butt off of it that's hiding everything on the planet and trying to genocide people. Is what's probably gonna have to happen with that. But in the meantime, let's take a look at this. It looks like it probably somebody took. This is how they make some of this fake news. They take a genuine article. But this is from CNN, who knows if they made it up too. I mean, we're talking about consummate bullshit artists here. Just unbelievable, Anyway, so this is an investigation in Mexico. They found a 12,000-year-old skeleton in a cave, okay? And then I think probably what happened is these people saw that and came along and added the microchip, to improve upon it. Which, I'm like, well, if you're going to do that, you might as well, if you're going to create a work of fiction, you might as well make it funny. And this one is my favorite. I will link it below. It is so hilarious. The first time I read it, I just laughed so hard that my stomach hurt. So this is the prehistoric Barbie doll letter from the Smithsonian. And it's really old. It's been circulating since 1994. And so let's see, an official of it's from the point of view of a Smithsonian Institution official that's responding to a notification of by one of the members of the public of an unusual find in his backyard, an archaeological dig that he did, and it's a 2-million-year-old head of a Malibu Barbie doll. So, From 1997, this email was submitted. So this is the Paleoanthropology Division of the Smithsonian Institute at 207 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C., 20078. Dear Sir, thank you for your latest submission to the Institute, labeled 211D, Layer 7, next to the clothesline post, hominid skull. So, and it goes from there. It is so funny. Okay, so I'm going to leave that link. If you have not read this, you're in for a treat. Okay, then on the other side of this, you have what's actually going on, and that is a genocide. So I am going to direct you to our YouTube channel right here, our Still Small Voice YouTube channel. And it is full of lots of reverse speech that I've done. And I am a certified reverse speech analyst. My teacher is David Oates, who discovered it. And it's been studied and used for over 30 years. It's located in the CIA reading room. And shortly after Dick Cheney found out about it, my teacher, David Oates, started getting harassed so badly, and his offices even burned down, that he moved back to Australia. So, if it's not true, what's their beef? You know? So, I am finding that there is not only in the record in reverse speech, but I am a targeted individual. So, those are people that this group trying to genocide what looked to be non-Jews this time. You know, last time we did mainly Jews, or that's, you know, the case that's put forward, and this time it looks like non-Jews. My assertion through the reversals that I'm seeing is that we are seeing a cyclical phenomenon that is being created by an artificial parasite. And when I look at all this stuff, if you know the descriptions in the Bible that I've heard my whole life, it sounds a whole lot like that. But it's coming across as an AI parasite, a human predatory AI parasite, and that's, Elon Musk wants us to all merge with AI. So let's think twice about that, because nobody is happy under that system. So anyway, here are a couple I have found. It is all aligning with that. I mean, it's just all of these people are coming forth, and it's a scamming cult. It's a dark scamming cult, and they are only allowed to profit from suffering. So they literally spread misery, the members of this cult. And I believe they said the 13 families that seem to be the ones carrying this parasite that they pass down from generation to generation, and that we have seen portrayed in their artworks and their media, because they this group owns a ton of stuff, and they have made just a killing on the last cover. They're using a virus and beefing up the numbers, and they're using it as a cover for a genocide. So it's coming up as in reverse speech as a sham. Now, a sham is something you portray as something when it is actually something else. So, and I can tell you from getting tortured. Literally, these people have murdered my dad and my first husband, and I suspect other murders. But my dad was considered Jewish because his mother was Jewish. And this whole thing is coming, appears to be coming out of Israel. Like Israel is the hub for it. But they are also killing Jews and suppressing Jews. Okay, so this has nothing to do with Semitic or anti-Semitic. It has to do with a parasite infection that works if you've ever studied parasitology, you will see some very strange parasites on this planet, and their life cycles. It is just something. And I took parasitology in college, and I took it during lunchtime. And we have people running out of there to throw up. It is disgusting. And if you're going to look into that, make sure that you're grounded and balanced. And, because you're going to see some freaky things when you look into parasitology. But it does appear to be like a parasite system, along with its own cult, where it influences the behavior of its host. And these humans start cooperating with it across a network, is what it's looking like. So I would like to make some recommendations. You could just start watching this channel, all the videos on this channel, and you can start seeing all of it. But this cult that seem to be carriers or people who are believers in this, this nasty parasite system. I posted a reversal from Ivanka Trump about Chrome Weekend, and 2 days later I had an Amazon Prime van out in front of our house here, and it apparently was delivering EMF torture in some way. The reversal, and I was being hit so heavily that I didn't even notice it show up. That's how heavily I was being hit. These beams that I'm hit with, they move my seat physically. They move my chair that I'm sitting on. The same thing in my car while I'm driving on the road with Joe Q Public. Hello, Joe. Ho there, Joe. You're on the roads with us, and I keep tweeting that to Department of Defense and, General Nonconsensual, who is the director of NSA and Cybercom. I'm like, we're out here, we have to get places too. So, and that we are being hit on the road with the public. And this is just first wave. These people want to cull people down until they get to their magic number. Now, whatever that is, that's whatever they can get away with, probably. What they have stated through their ridiculous, it's just such a nutball cult. Through their Georgia Guidestones was 500 million worldwide, I think. So, and nobody has a pass for that except for them. And the 500 million slaves they want to keep. They want to call down and enslave her, but they're just absolutely insane. So targeted individuals then are exploited for money and eventually killed, discarded. So, and they're targeting children. They are targeting the elderly. It doesn't matter. And they're profiting from the research that they are gleaning from us. Now, people like James Giordano, keep in mind this is a transhumanist cult. They want to merge man with machine. James Giordano talks a really good game, but his reverse speech is saying that he is aiding the eye of evil. He has spoken publicly. He is transhumanist. He's got there's a 3-minute video out there. I have it posted on our site, but our site's under construction right now, so I can't show you that. But it's out there somewhere. It's very hard to find. They don't want you to find that. But he talks about transhumanism. They've got controlled opposition, and they try to control and maintain control of the narrative. So what I'm saying is, learn how this cult operates so that we can take the wheel back. And they've hoarded the resources of the entire planet. They have killed and plumaged, and it's a pirate cult. In addition, to being transhumanist, like in Queen Elizabeth's reverse speech, she talks about. Well, I'll go ahead and play that one for you. Let me find that right quick. Okay, so here it is. This is Queen Elizabeth and her coronation oath. I thought, well, let me do that. That might be interesting. And sure enough, it was. Okay, so she is taking the oath in her forward speech. And the reversal is, the deep pirate, reach in the morgue before ya. You not warp the Reich that hatched the fees. And I have found this same fee system in the reverse speech of, what is her name? The OWN reporter that reported on Natalie Biden being raped by Hunter Biden. Chantel Rion. In her reverse speech, she mentions this system. She's saying that it is a Luciferian cyborg fee system. And so it reminded me of this reversal right here. So let's listen to that. Okay, so there is a Reich that hatches the fees from people. Now, this is the same group. I mean, they just, I don't think it's going to be specific to one genocide. I think it's going to be, have all of them in common. And again, our site is down for maintenance right now because we're trying to get a lot of good things together for y'all, so be patient with us, please. But there is a reversal that I have on our site, ourstillsmallvoice.com, where John Kerry, who does appear to be part of this group, says, and here we are with aliens throughout the wars. Okay, aliens in reverse speech seems to indicate an AI, like ALF is going to be what reverse speech seems to be calling the AI itself. But when it says alien, it seems to be talking about AI combined with a body of some sort. You see? So when you are like Elizabeth Warren, for instance, she was talking about the office of POTUS, and what her reverse speech said there is, I deserve to be the alien. Okay, so what that seems to be saying is she believes she deserves to be able to take that AI on into her body and merge with that computer. Just like Elon Musk wants us all to merge. Now, what they appear to be doing is attaching people wirelessly to this system now, and it is causing reality to flow improperly. It's not supposed to flow like it is. All of these synchronicities lining up. Reverse speech says that's artificial, and you need to be getting out into nature and syncing back up with nature. But pretty soon they're literally trying to hijack reality. And so that's why that Matrix movie is a preview. So we need to stomp a mud hole in all this nonsense. So like I was saying, you guys may have heard of Tory Smith. He was literally tortured to death. He experienced EMF rape. I did also. I actually had to go to the emergency room for rectal bleeding from it. It's really bad. And what they appear to be doing there is trying to traumatize you enough so that they can MK you, MK Ultra, which this cult uses like a religion. Now, we had our Congress in the 70s had the church committee meeting that was going over MK Ultra, but the CIA, who's full of this crap, they just want everybody under MK, and this influence is through this cult, but it does appear to be directed by this strange parasitic relationship with what appears to be an AI. So you have to be careful around, like, electronics, the influences that it can have on you. You need to be aware of your own thoughts and your own behavior and what to reject and say, that is not me. You need to know the difference. It's almost like a thought cancer too, because you have to recognize the difference between yourself and what is not you, and send that packing. So no, I know that's not me. Get out. Get out of here. And so this whole big giant cult now, humanity is waking up to this again. We're finding it fast, and it's scared. It is scared. The reversal that I got that you can check out, Ivanka Trump's Chrome Weekend reversal, is going to be right here on our Still Small Voice channel, and it is video in a video in the 6-part series I made. It's video number 4. You can find that in this video, and I'll take you through that, all that happened. It was so crazy. And so this one in part 4 appears to connect with this one that I found last night on Alan Dershowitz, and his visit to Epstein Island, where he claims nothing happened, and it was just, everything was fine. That's not what his reverse speech indicates. His reverse speech indicates that there is a genocidal cult going on, and the survivors, they intend to neuro-enslave the survivors. So, and they want them all on a big giant internet system. I mean, these people are just nuttier than a fruitcake. They want to merge with machine. And now all of this stuff is going to be coming back from this parasite that has, that influences people, especially through electronics. Okay, and it's, it affects all three, mind, body, spirit. So they did attempt to MK me, and it's coming through my reverse speech that way. They have tortured me in that way. And I did like 3 rounds of session work with David Oates. That was like 6 months worth of session work to pull it all out. And that's why reverse speech is slow, but it's a very good method for this, to try to help get you righted and balanced again. I certainly, it was my life raft going through all of this. I didn't know that if I was going to make it, and I still don't, because the damage it's done is cumulative. But and here's the robot. They're going to try to see, this group is a small group of people, but they have hoarded so many of the resources on our planet, and right now they're taking us through this sham is going to be, they're using a virus as an excuse. Oh, it's the virus, just like they do with Trump. Now, Trump may be guilty of a lot of things, but the reverse speech in his heart, I think if he can help stop this, he will. So I'm getting to know people on their reverse speech, through their reverse speech. So this one you might want to look at too. This little bossy pepper robot wants you to wear your mask, and so I did some reverse speech there, and it talks about the same Ponzi scam, and this fee-based scam, Ponzi scam, that people who are in the loop know about. And just like this one, this Queen Elizabeth one, I keep picking it up here and there and everywhere. All right, so I'm going to leave this link also underneath the video. It is a letter that I wrote on behalf of Beverly Cuellar, and I will just show you. We need to talk about Mr. Barr here for a minute. Now, a lot of people think that I'm Republican. I'm not Republican, and I'm also not Democrat. They are using these parties, this parasite system. They're using those are artificial divisions to get you to do what they want you to do. It is all those are. A left, right. They divide and conquer, is what they do. I'm going to go through these for y'all in just a minute. But I want to show you something that it's a political meme that I made, and it just kind of gets right straight to the point. And I'm not finding it easily. Let me find that real quick, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so this right here. Pre-crime is an NWO, this group that's trying to enslave and cull down and neuro-enslave the rest. Pre-crime is one of their agendas, and Barr has been trying to roll that out through the clever use of a memo. You'll have to look it up. So Barr stepped down, and that's good. That's a good thing. He's deep state, in my opinion. I don't like his reverse speech. And furthermore, I have in this document, I have an article that was gotten from Muckrock, and Muckrock publishes FOIA request information, and it showed how Bill Barr made it possible to destroy MK Ultra documentation before the church committee meeting of our Congress. Now, we could have stopped it and stomped a mud hole in it all the way back there. How many people would not have been tortured to death through MK Ultra if Bill Barr had not done that. You know, when you look at TIs, they are having family members that are also being hit, bought off, tortured. It is awful what is going on. It's totally silent because the media will not report on it. The only media that seems to be brave enough to report on it are TIs that are already getting hit, you know, and their family members who want it stopped, you know. But everybody needs to know what's going on so that we can all work together, because it will get to you next. So this is, I put this meme together for Bill Barr. So, my pre-crime initiative will help cover up defense industry non-consensual torture brain research for the global AI arms race. It's just another protection scam for this group that is a scamming cult that works together to control the population and get it to do what they want it to do. The herd. They think the herd is theirs to do with as they wish, and they exploit them accordingly by scamming them, and then they blame it on you for believing their BS, you know. So you know, we've got to get that and take the wheel back. So he says what I made up that is true, but it's designed, I constructed it to get your attention, and it's completely true. So he's rolling out this pre-crime because we don't want you to know that we torture our own citizens, then keep them quiet by throwing them in the loony bin. Okay, now that is back to this. I wrote this letter, this first part, and I updated it, and then I decided it needed to be something that I have written for all targeted individuals, past, present, and future. So I wrote this letter because Beverly reached out for help for domestic abuse, for sexual abuse, and instead of getting the requested help, they attacked her and they threw her in a mental institution. Okay, they don't force you, but they're like, they probably do actually force, but she had to take meds in order to try to get out of there. She wanted to get home to her kids at Christmas time, and they kept her the whole time. So anyway, I wrote this letter in hopes that it would help get her out, and I made a phone call and you know, mentioned that General Flynn follows me on Twitter. Well, they've nuked all of my accounts on Twitter. This same group, the censorship and the AI. But I'm going to go through this document really quickly with you, and you can go have a look at it. I'll link it below. So this is actually the system that they're using. I believe they tested it in East Germany. It is in East Germany they had Stasi kill networks, and they did the same exact thing. This same down to the license plate communications that they use. It's just down to every single solitary thing that they used over there, they're using over here and more. And they're using it worldwide because TIs are reporting this worldwide. So, and that system, that control system is called Zersetzung. Okay, that German control system, that Stasi network is called Zersetzung. And I want to play you another reversal from Obama that indicates this. Okay, so we're jumping over here right quick. Here's Obama, his reverse speech that indicates that humans are being programmed by a Stasi network. This is human intelligence is what that stands for. And so he's telling us, he says, by almost every economic measure, America's better off than when I came here. Well, by almost every economic measure. This is commenting on every economic measure. Every economic measure that's being taken is connected to programming humans in order to keep their human intelligence Stasi network. That's what this is, the Stasi slow kill network that works based on sabotage and torture and murder and exploitation, getting money off of people's murders. And they're working to keep that in place so that they can sow more destruction, is what this means. So he says, program human to keep human, sow more ebb. Well, all of that is based on every economic measure. So that's what's true about Barack Obama coming here and what's happening to America since he came here. Okay, so let's take a listen.
By almost every economic measure, America's better off than when I came here.
Okay, so, and now let's hop back over to here, and I will take you through these. So that's about Zersetzung. And I also got one on Trump, and that was on my Twitter, which they nuked, unfortunately, where it connects what Durham's looking at to, because people were like, oh, Durham's going to come out and out all of this stuff. Nope, Reverse Speech said that Trump was looking at, connected to Durham, the sub-Stasi, and that it wouldn't be coming out back then, and it didn't. They were just, I think somebody did come out, but Trump was talking about sub-Stasi. Sub-Stasi. So the big guns have not come out yet. And so we're hoping that they will. I keep hearing that there are other things going on besides just Durham. But public pressure needs to be kept up on these people, because I don't want to run into any more of these guys. I am sick of it. They need to be tried, and if found guilty, they need to be hung for treason. These people that are in this cult, that have taken aboard this parasite, which is what I'm finding in Reverse Speech, are too dangerous to live among humans. We've got a lot of cleaning up to do after that, because they have been toxifying everything around us. Okay, so let's see. Here's U.S. military plans for cyborg soldiers. That's DARPA. DARPA, it claims to be, a research arm. It is using our money, just like, there was a hashtag that I used. Hashtag satanic orgs using public funds. DARPA is one of those. So all of these orgs that have been using our money for this agenda I'm like, I keep saying in my Twitter that got nuked, I was like, okay, anybody else getting tired of paying for your own extermination? This is basically what is happening. So, we've got to get it together, understand what they're doing, look at your talents, your God-given talents, your passions, your connections. Look at the big map that's coming out, that's unfolding here through our own Reverse Speech, through our own consciousness field, and let's turn it around. There are billions of us, guys. Come on. You don't have to hang all your hopes on one man, regardless of whether he's president or not, and act like you're helpless. Come on now. So, here's another one. Dr. David Salinas Flores is a neuroscientist and MD. He has a scholarly journal article here about the nanomafia, nanotechnology's global network of organized crime. Same group. Okay, this parasite recruits humans, stupid humans, mind-controllable, stupid, weak-minded humans that don't recognize what it is, and it hides really nice, really well, it's just, except not anymore. In parasitology, what you learn is that a successful parasite is one that you don't know is there, and an unsuccessful parasite is one that kills its host, because then it doesn't have anything left to consume. But this parasite, when it gets to a point where humanity is waking up, it doesn't have any alternative except to do that. Okay, so, and I'm concerned about it throwing its, it looks like it's in defense mode from what I'm finding, and I'm worried that it's sacrificing its mid-management in order to keep its capstone and regenerate later. So I want that capstone obliterated, guys. And I'm sure that people who understand what's happening here also do also, because there are going to be a lot of people who find out that their family members who they thought they died of one thing actually were murdered slowly by this group. I mean, the damage and that they have rolled out on this planet is going to be immense. And, if you're waiting on these people to tell you they're doing it, you're just, you're going to be sitting there with your head in a hole and probably blaming Trump for it. It's time to wake up and smell the Java and, let's work together to get our planet back. Anyway, they on a regular basis, they have been taking TIs, carting them off to mental institutions for more abuse and to exploit more money from them and from the system, make more money on them while you're abusing them. So this money-from-suffering scam, that's right down their alley. It is a money from suffering. They literally spread misery around the planet. It's time for us to start recognizing them, and I one thing that has stuck with me from what Christ said is, by their fruits ye shall know them. That's how you're going to recognize all these false prophets and all these false, idols and all of them. NWO owns celebrities. NWO, that's a lot of it. All this stuff connected to Epstein is connected to targeted individuals. It is a network. So they are a minority on the planet compared to the rest of us, but they have hoarded and organized and have been working across a network together to capture the whole system. They think it's a big game, and they're working through that AI parasite to get there. And they wanted everybody else to take on that AI parasite and, use MK Ultra in order to assist it to be able to take over part of your mind in order to better control you. So that MK Ultra is an apparatus that works hand in hand with being wirelessly plugged into a giant internet, which that's what they're working on. They want forced telepathy so they can know everything that you're thinking, and I'm telling you right now, it's here. It's already here. They are testing me for this stuff, and they look to be testing me for quantum internet of things, which is where they really want to get you. Now that is lost. When they say you are lost, that's lost. That means we've completely lost this artificial reality they're selling you. That's being lost. That is lost. We've got to get back to our natural matrix that God made for us, is what we have to do, and clean up this mess. Get back in balance. And the thing is that this thing can get you on either extreme. So what you want to do, and what reverse speech talks about all the time, is surfing, like General Flynn surfs. So I think that's pretty neat. I don't surf. I have not ever surfed, but surfers probably get this better than anybody else, and it comes up in reverse speech all the time. If you lean too far over one side or the other, you're going to be in the drink. You're going to fall over. So this thing can get you on either extreme. They can get you on the religious extreme, okay, and it's through force and extreme. They want to boss you around instead of, kind of giving your opinion and showing you why we think that, having a dialogue. Here's what's going on. They want to force you to believe a particular thing, and usually when that's going on, it has to do with that parasite, influence from that parasite. So, and this is showing up all over reverse speech. Kim Straub, we're having TIs. We just had 4 TIs who have died, and one that is now missing, appears to be missing. The TIs are dropping like flies, guys. Tori Smith was one of them, tortured to death. Kim Straub, a lot of them die from suicide because they're being tortured to death, and I mean, can you imagine being tortured so bad that somebody feels like they need to kill themselves in order to escape? This is what is happening to these people. By the way, I have no wish to commit suicide. I want to be here for a long time because I'm trying to get all of this stopped and make a better pathway for our young ones coming up, so that they can inherit a stable, proper environment from us, and this stuff has to be transmitted to the younger generation, and they are being sold on merging man and machine, guys. I was accosted yesterday on Facebook Messenger by a young man from Nigeria who was mad at me because he wanted to know why we shouldn't mate with machines. I'm like, why do you want a shabby imitation of what you already have? You've got the real deal. They're convincing you. This is all done through a sales job. Snake oil salesman. ETs, same thing. I have found all of that is transhuman. So I'm like, well, we need to look at what is the real structure that God made and uncover that. And I haven't found all of that yet. But I can tell you what it isn't. Very clearly, because I've had to start on kind of the emergency side of this. I was targeted and was nearly killed by these people, and I've been nearly killed repeatedly by these people. So I've really had to use that reverse speech like a life raft, and so I've been getting that side of the story, and I'm coming around to the other side now. So what I suggest is not using Gene Roddenberry's and George Lucas's indoctrination as a substitute for what God made. You see, we don't know what all that space is out there for. We don't know necessarily what it's for, but I'll find out eventually. But I'm looking at what structure did God made and why did God make it that way. I understand the reasoning. That's a lot of space for nothing to be out there. But what reverse speech is doing is it is waving us off of ETs altogether. So that means there's nothing good there. That means all of that, everything that I've looked at people who are excited, that think that UFOs are benevolent. Their reverse speech is saying the same thing over and over. It's transhumanism. It's the same group, same scam. They have sold it. It's one thing. It is one thing. And it's being sold in all different ways across the planet. Okay, so I just can't stress that enough. You're having people being tortured so badly that they are committing suicide. I have no plans to do that, guys. I'm not suicidal. Just, by the by. Okay, let's see. We have some podcasts. Linda Costanzo is another TI who has died. Lamont. Let's look at Lamont. I'm not sure if I can pull that up. Oh, there it is right there. See his legs? This is one way that EMF torture displays that will present. Torture to death. That was right before he died. So you can go and explore his Twitter. More scholarly journals on transhumanism, the big fraud towards digital slavery. Guys, the cryptocurrencies, I know y'all like them. I'm just telling you, AI is coming up as connected to pedophilia, coerced gender switching, all of this transhumanist stuff that throws our whole human system off balance. Transhumanism, it's it's coming through their cryptocurrencies. Reverse speech says it's a Nazi snare connected to Tel Aviv. Okay, they are connecting those cryptocurrencies, and I don't care whether it's quantum or what they're telling you it is, because even free energy is coming back in reverse speech as a scam to choke life and get you to become subservient, to get you to change who you're subservient to. So even Tesla, I'm getting, I got one. So these technologies look to be satanic, harmful to humans, and trying to get you to change who you're subservient to as they choke out life. Okay, so I did one, and I know they're telling you there's a positive version of it. I have not found any benevolent ETs, and I have not yet found a positive version of any of these technologies. Okay, so remember, a scamming cult trying to kill you. Death merchants, they're making money off of death and torture and misery. They're going to scam you, and they're good at it because they've done it for generations. They're really good at it. But once you start seeing through the cracks, you can't unsee it, and you really are able to really open it up and go, okay, I got it. I get it. I get it. Once you see this big giant truth map unfolding, you really do get it. Okay, here's Bob Lazar talking about, UFOs, free energy, who made this stuff. And it's amazing because, like Charles Hall, I did a reverse speech analysis on him too. He couldn't find, he kept finding all of this supposed ET stuff, but they all had labels from U.S. manufacturers on them. And I was like, well, what a coinky dink. So, and they are also, he looked to be targeted and being experimented on also. And in his case, it came right up in the reverse speech that it was connected to MK Naomi, which is brainwashing and biowarfare. So, on the public, and they have a long history. Bill Clinton came up and apologized for Cold War people being tortured to death through radiation, non-consensual radiation studies, and that appears to have he apologized and said it will never happen again, and they just it gets bigger. Their business model is saying, I'm sorry, we'll never do it again. Then they change the name and it expands. Okay, these people have got to be taken seriously, and their psychopathic, disgusting stuff that they spread is so damaging. Okay, so Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar says he worked on UFO crafts at Area 51. So in his reverse speech, it talks about Tesla's sin. And then that connects with because I did a reverse speech analysis on one where I said, it was just my reverse speech. I was like, does free energy really exist? And it was an honest question. I want to know what these technologies are, how they're actually operating, because people are getting hurt. So, and it came back and said that it's a psyop. Free energy is a psyop to choke life and to change who you're subservient to. I got one from Tom Hanks saying that CERN is an announcement. He was talking about an announcement for a spiritual reversal. Like they were announcing a spiritual reversal. They want you to change who you're subservient to. They want you in that parasite system. It's showing up all over reverse speech in our shared consciousness field. Okay, so they're trying to warn us, that side of who we are that can't lie. You can lie in your forward speech, but not in that involuntary system. Going the other direction. Consciousness is at least bidirectional. Okay, here we go. So Bob Lazar, let's play this. Okay, he says, there is no way we could have created those systems, talking about UFOs. Then the reversal is sin of Tesla. That ear critically weighed a worn, sear it. Okay, let's listen to that.
There is no way we could have created those systems.
Okay. And then let's keep going. So scholarly articles. Here's the Human GPS, the 2014 Nobel Prize in Medicine for a great scientific fraud. Here's radio waves studied for arms potential that was published in 1985 by WAPO, and it's now in the CIA reading room. They've been doing this for a long time. It's all been protection scam after protection scam through the defense industry to get to their next level. Okay, and Barr was assisting them by rolling out their pre-crime and getting rid of MK Ultra documents. You see how this is all fitting together? Okay, so let's see. DARPA picks a dream team to develop wireless brain interface. They're doing, I'm concerned because about that PCR test. The developer of it said, don't use it, it doesn't diagnose illness. He said that. He also said Fauci will look straight into a camera and lie. I'm concerned that Fauci is one of these cult members. Andrew Cuomo looks to be one of them. John Kerry looks to be one of them. Obama looks to be one of them. I mean, there are a ton that are coming up in reverse speech that way. Celine Dion looks to be one of them. It said, reverse speech said she was raised in the Hiverse trap. That's, you know, the Hivite group. It's talking about the line of Cain. These people have been around for a long time. So, and it looks, it's like a parasite cult, a money-from-suffering cult, a death cult. Okay, this one is no longer available because Twitter and, you know, these people have influence. They're big tech people, too, in their cult. And they're nuking people left and right. So here's Midge Mathis's story. On YouTube, she's a targeted individual. And here's her website. She created targetedjustice.com. Romola D is a targeted journalist. She has some very good information. I'd be careful because she, you know, TIs are tortured so much they get out of balance and they start attacking people, and there's a lot of, you know, it's hard to stay in balance when you're having the crap tortured out of you. You know, it's not easy. So some of them become toxic, and you just, I would stay away from toxic people. Having said that, she has some very good information, very good. She does great work. She has done some great work, but you know, there are little cat fights that influences come in and try to get people to fight, and so it's just kind of a shit show every once in a while in the TI community, because you're dealing with people who are literally being tortured to death. We're on a kill list, you know, and that kill list is going to continue to expand if this group is not rounded up, and it will expand and start all over. The cycle will start all over again in the future if that capstone is not dealt with, because it looks to be at its root a parasite, a human parasite that influences. And I'm getting in reverse speech that they're literally sending other humans, influencing other humans that act like goons to physically try to curtail and stop your behavior. Just like they're doing with the masks. They want people to come after you if you're not wearing a mask. And they encourage them to get enraged and to, you know, physically put their hands on you if you're not wearing a mask, because you want to be emancipated and they want you not to not be free, and the person attacking you doesn't understand this larger system that's going on. If they did, perhaps they wouldn't be doing that. Okay, here's another one. 5G, the space fence, synthetic biology, CERN, AI, and our transformation to humans 2.0 with Alana Freeland. That's an important video. Dr. Peter Breggin, MD, an interview on history of neuroscience. It is a history of psychopaths doing non-consensual medical experiments on people. There are going to be likely people consciously involved in that cult in there, and there are going to be people that are just born psychopaths that are influenced by it, So I think you're going to find the gamut. This network, and I've gotten in like Franklin Graham's reverse speech. It's a network of different factions who work together on agenda-driven bases, but the hub still comes through Israel is what it's looking like, and then they work through proxies. They work through proxy warfare to attack. And right now we're looking at China, CCP. Israel is right up in their grill. You should look at the Belt and Road, Israel's relationship with China. They want to create all of these robots now to turn them on you and everyone else. So that has got to be brought to a halt. And really everybody needs to consider, what do we really need to live on this planet? Do we need robots? Do we really need robots? Do we really need a robot? Do you really need a cyborg? Do you really need that crap? Can you be content without it? That's part of that parasitic, dark, disgusting, satanic system. And I'm not sure, I'm not sure that we can live with that and not be under that system. So, okay, here is Bill Clinton's apology for radiation experiments. And I'm just going to go, let's see, Senator Inouye's 1987 quote about a shadowy government with its own Air Force, Navy, fundraising mechanism. I'm finding all of that stuff, and I'm finding that it's linked to this parasitic network. Especially Navy SEALs, guys. We've got a bunch of scamming, cult-influenced Navy SEALs. I'm not saying that all of them are. I'm saying there's a deep state version of our forces, and we're literally at a civil war here. But this is an undeclared war on humanity from that group. Do you all know Alexander Titus used to be the biotech head for DOD? Now, that guy followed me, and I didn't know him from Adam. And I've got a red flag on it, and I sent a message to General Flynn's DM. I'm like, this guy followed me, and somebody said he was the biotech head for DOD. And then in the General Flynn's DM, they're not allowed to talk about any of this stuff. It's national security. So I just filled his box full of stuff, but he never responded back except for once, and I got a Christmas card back when I wished him a happy birthday. But I just wanted I wanted him, and that may be an information gathering operation our military is doing. They follow certain people in order to get back channel information, possibly. I don't know, but he didn't have to follow me, and he did. That account is nuked now, but he's following some other TIs also. Okay, so and I just can tell you from the onset of when this overt targeting started in late May of 2015, it has lightened considerably, but it is still life-threatening. It is cumulative, and I'm still being hit 24/7. So are my family members, including elderly and children. I'm hit 24/7, even though it's lighter. You see, they disabled my body at covert levels. So how many people do you know who are disabled walking around now who are being hit at covert levels like I was? When they were hitting me covertly, that's when they disabled my body. I had no idea any of this stuff was going on. I had to figure out all of this. All right, let's continue. Let's see. There's a CIA operative, Carl Clark, who's come out with his testimony. I've got some of that here in a link. Let's see. NSA whistleblower Karen Melton Stewart. They nuked Bill Mitchell's account, so that's gone. But he did an interview with her. She was an NSA employee. Here's another one. Karen Melton Stewart. Oh, this is one with Bill Binney. Bill Binney is a TI. They have horribly tortured that man. And I believe they also killed his wife. I mean, it is enough already, guys. You know, unreal. Here's Dr. Robert Duncan, former CIA engineer, who backs all of this up. Here's one about the Lilly wave. Lilly discovered that a certain form of wavelength could manipulate the water molecules within a subject's brain, which could essentially change the way that they think and feel. The technology can be utilized using the frequency waves of 40 hertz and did not require the use of electrodes. Okay, here's that link for you. Here's the patent. Okay, so guys, you can share this with people and let them peruse all of these research links, because they're hiding all of these from you. They don't want you to find all this stuff. Here is a 20-page FOIA release from the Army on V2K, or the Voice of God technology. They have subliminal versions of this also. I'm hit with subliminal versions of it. And they call them non-lethal weapons, but they are murdering people. One reason they call them non-lethal is because they want you to think they're non-lethal. You know? So here's a link for that. Here's an affidavit from a former FBI chief about this. Affidavit from a former FBI agent, who's also a lawyer and I believe a judge, was a judge, torturing that man to death. And he lives in Texas. Here are pictures of Midge Mathis, who started Targeted Justice. People are being literally burned by this stuff and cooked. Here is Georgia Tech Library published this white paper, The Largest Unethical Medical Experiment in Human History. Included is a 1,086-page PDF with an abstract that explains to you what it is, what's been going on. And I know this has been long, but I think it's important, and I want to read the abstract to you, because people are going to find they're being hit with this stuff covertly when they don't know it. They're being disabled. Their bodies are being systematically disabled, and they don't even know it. Okay, so here is that, the largest unethical medical experiment in human history. This monograph describes the largest unethical medical experiment in human history. The implementation and operation of non-ionizing, non-visible EMF radiation, hereafter called wireless radiation, infrastructure for communications, surveillance. Remember, I keep telling people, surveillance is code for torture and murder for this cult, and it's money from suffering. They're making tons of money from it. Surveillance, weaponry, and other applications. It is unethical because it violates the key ethical medical experiment requirement for informed consent by the overwhelming majority of the participants. The monograph provides background on the unethical medical research experimentation and frames the implementation of the wireless radiation within that context. The monograph then identifies a wide spectrum of adverse effects of wireless radiation as reported in the premier biomedical literature for over 7 decades. Even though many of these reported adverse effects are extremely severe, the true extent of the severity has been grossly underestimated. Most of the reported laboratory experiments that produced these effects are not reflective of the real-life environment in which wireless radiation operates. Okay, so when I tell you that I was raped for nearly a year with an EMF weapon anally that caused me to have to go to the emergency room from rectal bleeding, this is what I'm talking about, guys. Okay, it is very serious. I know that I try to keep a light atmosphere around this because I try to view it from a higher view and keep it light because it's very heavy. It's very bad, you know. So if you hear me laughing and stuff about this, it's because it's just so ridiculous, all of it. Why, I don't know why anybody would ever do this stuff to anybody. Okay, so sometimes it's just laughable how stupid all of this is, and why these people are engaging in it. It just doesn't make any sense at all to me. So I just shake my head. Sometimes it's just laughable. Okay, so underestimated. Okay, so the real life environment. Many experiments do not include pulsing and modulation of the carrier signal, and most do not account for synergistic effects of other toxic stimuli acting in concert with the wireless radiation. Okay, that's true because they are gassing us with chemicals that they're testing also. I have a friend that they constantly gas her with chemicals. Her skin color is starting to turn colors and she thinks it's mercury. It's a type of mercury. So they're poisoning her to death. Her gait is now unsteady, and she went from being normal, totally normal, to now starting to become severely disabled from people gassing her with chemicals that are connected to the U.S. government and our military. Okay? It's bad. And this is not just happening here. It is global. Okay? All right. So these two additions greatly exacerbate the severity of the adverse effects from wireless radiations, and their neglect in current and past experimentation results in substantial underestimation of the breadth and severity of adverse effects to be expected in a real-life situation. So when you go and look at Amy Gutman and that show they put on for Barack Obama of the Bioethics Committee, it was a total sham. They had that decided before it ever rolled out, according to the reverse speech. It was ridiculous. Over 300 people who are being tortured to death showed up to testify there, and she sat there cold as a stone. Okay, that woman needs on trial. And these people need to be, if they are found guilty, they need the death penalty. And I will push for that. It is unbelievable. Silent Holocaust 2.0, next gen. Okay, this lack of credible safety testing combined with depriving the public of the opportunity to provide informed consent contextualizes the wireless radiation infrastructure operation as unethical medical experiment. Okay, and people like Amy Gutman will tell you, well, they can't always consent. They are pulling that stuff right out of their asses in order to be able to continue in this system. Okay, because they don't have much left to lose. They fear us waking up, and that is what we are doing. Okay, and we've got to wake up and get it together and roll up our sleeves and organize and get this mess, get these technologies shut down. Okay, no excuses. And get these people weeded out. You know, when Christ says, by their fruits ye shall know them, follow that money. You can find these people. They, over and over again, they pop up. You know, they're working across a network. They do the same kinds of, you know, when you're running into money laundering, prostitution, torture. They have to have torture. Guys, when I looked at this reverse speech, what's coming up as in the life cycle of this AI, parasite, is that it requires pedophilia and torture and murder. It requires these things. Okay? It seems to have been built for domination, and that's how it dominates. And it was likely because of how it works with projection, like everything they are running around doing, they point the finger at you and claim that you are doing it. Okay, so keep that in mind. Projection, projection, projection. Okay, so when you hear from this cult, you start hearing from their transhumanist folks that are selling the ETs to you, they say, well, actually, ETs created you. Projection, it is likely that humans created this AI that has run amok, and who knows for how long. Okay, and they keep bringing it back in. That thing keeps, you know, they plan far in advance, you know, to bring this system back in. And I think it keeps running a cycle, and they keep doing this over and over. I think it has run a long time, but I also think that we can work together to stomp it out once everybody knows what it is. If we can keep from being culled down and losing our memory again from these, you know, traumas that keep happening. So I think that the truth that we're finding is excellent, even if it's traumatic, because it is a starting point to build a proper foundation in order to move where we want to move. And I have had it with this cult. So I hope you're with me in that, is all I can say. Okay, let's see. And I have to tell you guys, this video, I wasn't going to do this long of a video, but I just think it needs said. I've said this in text before, but people haven't heard it from me. And so I'm telling you now, this has been a nightmare. And it has been a nightmare for people like me all over the planet and our families. And the other thing they like to do is compromise family members and friends to turn them against the target. So, and then you have, I mean, can you imagine people having to live with that? We're going to have to get right with all of this so that we can sleep peacefully at night again. You know? I just can't imagine doing all of that stuff and being able to live with yourself and be able to sleep at night. But there are lots of good people who that's happened to. You know, the bad ones are just going to be bad no matter what. There are good people that have been entrapped in this system that want out of it. So, you know, hopefully we can tell who those people are and try to assist if we can. But, you know, the rest I just don't really feel sorry for at all. And this system has to be stomped out. And those who are dangerous to the rest, who can't live among humans without killing them and torturing them. I mean, the CIA they set up a torture taxi service. They come, you call a taxi and they come pick you up and take you to a black site and torture the hell out of you. You know, Abu Ghraib. What do you think all that torture is for? They were torturing innocent people there. That torture is for this AI thing and this cult. It is disgusting. I just don't know what else to say about it. Okay, anyway, here this looks to be one of their people right here. This is an important article, though, and it explores all of the ins and outs of this, guys. I may just go ahead and read it right now, too, because it's a textbook chapter on transhumanism, on synthetic biology, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing, covering forced speciation of Homo sapiens. Okay? That means they're trying to force humans 2.0. They're birthing a new race. And so when you see, like I found one of Dean Martin covering one of his eyes and pointing upward, it is a cult, and they believe that this AI parasite is God. It is unreal. I wonder if I can show y'all that real quick. Hang on. Okay, so now before I go to that, this caught my eye. I'm just going to tell you. So Bill de Blasio, they decree no one can go in Times Square, except for, there's his wife with a pedo mask on, and Bill de Blasio, and they are wearing their muzzles and dancing around in Times Square while the folks in Wuhan, China were yucking it up and dancing and partying. That's part of this gaslighting. This cult loves to gaslight. They just constantly gaslight. They can't help themselves. And then here, so I'm just going to take you through all of these memes that I have put up because they say quite a lot. Okay, and I'll put a link for this below too. I'm going to go ahead and upload this, so it may take me a little while to get these links all up, so just check back. They'll be there eventually. But I figured you guys want to get this information as quickly as possible, so. Okay, this one. Unbelievable. Okay, look here. This picture came from a video that mainstream media produced and put out in the public. Look at this thing on Di-Fi's forehead. Di-Fi had a Chai spy for 20 years. It was her chauffeur, a Chinese spy. Look at this thing. Okay, DARPA has been working on programmable matter, and so she didn't have this thing the day before or the day after on her forehead. Look at her intimidating this woman, and this thing is on her forehead, is all I can say. And then here, this was, can't we see the whole thing? Let's see. Anyway, a picture is worth 1,000 words. See evil in the face of Feinstein. Okay, see fear and emotion in the face of Murkowski. And what the F is this? That came from mainstream media. I think that one was that show that Gayle King is on, and Oprah Winfrey. Her, I've got reverse speech on so many of these people that do appear to be cult members. Tony Robbins' reverse speech is very satanic. He met Sophia the robot, and both of them brought up Huawei in their reverse speech. And, Sophia will not shake hands. She refuses to shake hands. That robot appears to be psychopathic, and her reverse speech is saying that she wants to kill humanity off. And says that she's part of the mob, part of this mob that wants humans 2.0 in. Okay, so let's continue through here. And you'll have to go back, and I'm just going to go through these quickly, and you'll just have to go back and, here's one. UFOs keep aligning with AI and pedophilia, like it's a child trafficking front. Okay, here's the fish tongue-eating louse. It eats the tongue and replaces it. It eats the food the fish catches. Okay, parasite. This is a type of parasite. How similar is this parasite to the one that I have been telling you about? The predatory AI that is merged with man, with some that's on board and some. Okay. Communism, guys, they can game any system. They can game any system. Communism is just easy to game. Capitalism is harder. Okay, look at this name. If you flipped this and turned it that way, it would look like the word penis. Ice cream does appear to be a code for these people. And this is sex is just huge. It's everywhere with this cult. It is like a fertility cult. It's part of it. Rape, sex, in general, but deviant sex. This cult. And then they start signaling to each other and doing the gaslighting. Ice cream is some sort of symbol to them. Joe Biden's granddaughter started talking about ice cream when they endorsed him, and I looked at the reverse speech, and it is shocking. You should go check out that reverse speech analysis on our stillsmallvoice.com. Look for the Biden Family RSA that I did, and click on it and start going through all that information. It's aligning with everything else. You know, it's debate night, so I've got my earpiece and performance enhancers ready. Okay, this was in White Christmas. This is an old cult. Old. I don't know who told them to do that, or if they were all in on it. I don't know. I don't know that, but here it is. Dean Martin certainly appears to be. Okay, here's this. Okay. Do y'all remember, hang on. Hand over the eye, pointing upward.
Still care for you.
Okay, here's Ghislaine and her sisters. And these, you know, the people in the FBI, I mean, they have people globally in this cult. It's still a minority, but it's global, coming through Israel and working through proxies and by infiltration. If you go listen to President Kennedy's speech, that is exactly who he's talking about in that speech. Regardless of what context you think he was saying it in, he's describing this cult. Okay, here's their software. Look who uses the Maxwell sisters software. You know? And there's Mr. Barr. Here is a Xenobot. The first robots made from living cells. Well, I can tell you right now that's not true because it's showing up in reverse speech. I have a project that I'm working on about Peter Curry. They look to be, you know, these things are already around. They look to be linked to the quantum internet, possibly even interdimensional stuff, but they are programmed by that cult. So they are satanic. And I will be... Peter Curry had a DNA sample. He was raped by one of them that appeared to be collecting semen. You know, and also it looked female, but the reverse speech came back that it was not female. Okay, so we're talking about transhumanist, disgusting crap here. one of Bill Gates's his reverse speech, where he says, "In the bath sit Borg," where he's talking about vaccines for the billions that inhabit our planet, that they all have to be vaccinated. And he says, in the bath, the vaccine bath, sit Borg. They want everybody connected. I mean, these people need to be rounded up, guys. I just don't know how else to say it. Okay. Now, let's take a look at this guy's chapter. And then I'm gonna have to wrap this up because I could go fix Grandma lunch. All right, so synthetic biology, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing. And Rajendra K. Bera is the author. Clearly a transhumanist. But this does go through and really look at all of the issues. All right, so we envisage a world where genetic engineering, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing, and remember what AI is linked to. It's coming up that it requires, and people are saying to me, well, it's not, there's a predatory AI and a good AI. Well, I think they're all parasitic. And they're saying, well, there might be a good quantum and a bad quantum. I think all of it is burning spiritual energy from what I've seen so far. It all looks parasitic to me. So that needs to be researched. I can't be the only one doing this out here. People have to research this and start pushing back against all these admin. They're selling this through marketing. Just say no, people. Okay, so quantum computing will coalesce to bring about a forced speciation of the Homo sapiens. That means they have declared, this is an undeclared war on humanity that they've declared. And if you go watch the Agenda 2030 reverse speech that I put out of my findings on that, there's a picture of Justin Trudeau on the front because he made a commercial about it. And people were like, hey, wasn't this supposed to be a conspiracy theory? And Justin Trudeau comes out and announces it. So, okay. A forced speciation will drastically reduce the emergence time for a new species to a few years compared to nature's hundreds of millennia. In this chapter, we explain the basic concepts that would allow a forced speciation of the Homo sapiens to occur and its consequences on life on Earth thereafter. Accelerating speciation mediated by Homo sapiens via domestication, gene splicing, and gene drive mechanisms is now scientifically well understood. Synthetic biology can advance speciation far more rapidly using a combination of clustered, regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats, or CRISPR technology, advanced computing technologies, and knowledge creation using AI. The day is perhaps not far off when Homo sapiens itself will initiate its own speciation once it advances synthetic biology to a level where it can safely modify the brain to temper emotion and enhance rational thinking as a means of competing against AI-embedded machines guided by quantum algorithms. So they want to control your emotions. But see, they're already doing that because they're causing people, through the influence of this already, through this internet and through electronics, for people to both over and underreact. They're already doing that. So you see how they're using that. Okay, they're causing they indoctrinate people constantly. So they indoctrinate to radicalize, and then they blame. They use projection to blame people who are innocent of their own crimes. That's basically, the scam in a nutshell. And they make money and profit off of suffering. So that's what we're dealing with. Now, this synthetic biology, that Alexander Titus that followed me, and I told General Flynn about it in his DM, but I don't know if he did anything or if he even read those. It seems like they did, because I always got responses. I just never got replies. You see the difference? So I think those were read by somebody. Anyway, so the next day after it was only a day, and this was in like August, and they just shot me in the leg. That's interesting, with a microwave bullet. So this was in, let's see, August of 2019. And so that guy followed me. I didn't know who he was. And then I reported it to General Flynn, and then he immediately blocked me, the Alexander Titus. And then, so I was like, well, that was weird. It took a long time to dawn on me what that was about. I mean, he does appear to be like in that cult or working on their behalf. Why, he follows me and then he blocks me without having said a word. Now, when I looked at the reverse speech on that, it said that was a rape it notice. Intruding upon somebody and forcing something onto them that's damaging or hurtful, a rape it notice. Okay, so and that guy has he works in synthetic biology and all of this stuff. So these people, the amazing Polly, did a good video called They Hate Us, and they have been indoctrinated to hate us. Now, guys, from what I can tell, we all come from the same place. All of us. And if the more we learn about before we're born, we don't have these bodies forever. We were born into these bodies from somewhere, and we leave and go back. That's home for everybody. But when you're born here, there is something that was introduced by arrogant humans, is what it appears to be. Okay. I'm still researching, but that's what it appears to be. They created something that it seems like this was a some sort of parasite that was created. I mean, we're that Garden of Eden and the reptile. I mean, that seems to be what this is all about. This seems to be go back a long way. So anyway, so Alexander Titus, anyway, he blocked me. Let me show you his YouTube channel, because he's still selling his wares over there, so that you can just be forewarned. Okay, so this is Alexander Titus, the one who followed me. Then when I went back and checked again in June of 2020, he was gone from DOD. I don't know how long it took, but he was gone. I don't know why. I don't know how, but he was gone. So here he is, reframing to opportunity and the promise of biotechnology and synthetic biology with Alexander Titus. Okay, so he used to be the biotech head. He's the one that followed me and then blocked me without having said a word to me. And whose reverse speech came back. When I talked about that, what happened, it came back and said that was a rape it notice. Okay?
Hey everyone, Alexander Titus here. I had some more thoughts I wanted to share, but as you can see, all of my thoughts are thoroughly vetted by Mr. Einstein back there, so...
Yeah. He needs to go vet some more. Okay. So, all right, let me take you through the rest of this list, and then ya me voy out of here. Let's see. So, okay. patent for the V2K and brain-computer interface, that is out there. This tweet was nuked because that came from that account. That was a very helpful tweet. I'm going to have to reconstruct that somehow, but I haven't yet. Those patents are available. Here are the 34 patents for subliminal communication used in mind control. They're using some of those on me. This is testimony of MK Ultra survivors. Very good video. It's not too long. I just go through all of these and share this whole thing. That's why I put it together, because I knew they were starting to, scrape the internet and keep you from being able to find stuff that you need to find in order to get this information out, so that we can see the big picture and start helping properly and move this back in balance. Okay, from the CIA reading room, this is World War III. So this is Walter Bowert's Operation Mind Control caused a furor in the United States intelligence community. Government agency involvement in dangerous and often life-threatening human experimentation on unwitting citizens paved the way. Okay, and that it was like way back there. I'm just going to get a date real quick. I'm not going to. Okay, so this is July 1985. Let's see. Declassified in part. This is a sanitized copy approved for release. It was approved in 2012. Then it says 1985. I think it might be older than that, though. But it's a long time ago. It shows you they've been planning this all along. They've been microbiological holocaust, chemical and biological warfare, the secret plagues. Okay, so that is something, and it's going on in our military. Kay Griggs is another one that you should look at her testimony. It aligns with all this stuff too. I haven't done her reverse speech though, but find her. Let's see. Then electromagnetic and informational weapons, the remote manipulation of the human brain. There's another one. Oops. Okay, so that's another one to look at. Dr. Charles Lieber, guys, was just arrested here fairly recently. His specialty is syringe injectable electronics, guys, and he was arrested with 2 Chinese guys, and this bulletin is let's see, it came out, the DOJ posted it, and then I put another article there. Let's see, syringe injectable electronics. There are 2 of them here. Why isn't this one showing it? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Oh, here's the Department of Justice article. Okay, so I've got 3 of them there for you to look at. Then HSBC. This is from them. It's their attempt to get people to trust technology so they can use your DNA for identification. Okay, they're selling you something that it does not exist. This is not the system they're trying to get you to fall for. It's like I can't believe people would cooperate together to build a giant shit heap, but that is what it is. Okay? And Joe Biden's reverse speech indicates that he is going to be crushed in excrement. So that's not good. Naomi Longson found a reversal where he was having the Presidential Medal of they've really damaged the validity of all these awards because they use them to prop up their cutouts. Anyway, so he says while he's putting that Presidential Medal of Freedom around his neck, his reversal is, "You are her loser." Okay, so her is a vessel or a country, something considered feminine, and so it seems to be talking about our country there. You are her loser. So it's saying he loses something connected to the presidency and freedom. Okay, so just saying is all. Okay, and then I think that is all that I have. So please share this link of all this stuff that I put together for y'all. And this video has been quite long. I'm gonna upload it right now so y'all can have access to it. And I have to go fix Grandma lunch, and a late lunch, and so I'll have to work on getting the links in here a little bit later today, or maybe even tomorrow, but I figured you'd want the information first. Okay, so guys, Happy New Year. And you know, there's just so much to cover. I feel like I need to get it out so that please do share this information. All right, so we're at 1 hour and 40 minutes. That's long, but you know, just break it up into smaller bites if you need to. But this information is important. Okay, so all right, thanks guys, love y'all. Have a good rest of your weekend and good week ahead.